Welcome back to Rod Russ Garage. This weekend I don't have a lot of time. Got a lot of other projects going on that I got to take care of that aren't going on the channel. But one of the things I've been putting off doing for a while is snatching in this distribution valve for the rear brake. So this week I'm going to try and figure that out. And let me show you what we got going on here. It's a little bit of a mess. So if you remember from a video quite a while back when I first threw all this stuff in, I just want to show you now, like this is loose in here, right? So this is the rear brake line from the master cylinder. Master cylinder's, you know, bolted in just finger tight, not all the way. But I want to show how that you can't even slide a piece of paper through there. Now once this gets tightened all the way down, which I've not quite done yet, it still touches this inner fender, and I don't like that, and I gotta fix that. So what I'm going to do is replace this line. But if I'm going to replace this line, what I'm going to do, and it'll be a little more obvious once I get going, but I need a place to mount that proportioning valve. And so what I think I'm going to do is just make a new line, come off of here, go back this way, maybe make a bracket that I can hang off of this right here and have it sit right about here. That way it's real easy access in the future. I deliberated on where to put this thing, but it needs to be kind of mounted a little bit firmly. So I'm going to put it here, probably make an aluminum bracket that'll have a little bit of wiggle room in it, and then come out of the back of that, and then go on down to the distribution block down below. So that's going to be a whole bunch of brake line bending and crossing my fingers. So I guess it's time to get started. So here's what I came up with for my bracket. I found this laying around. I keep scrap metal. I don't have any idea where this came from. But what I'm going to do is just cut out this little corner here and drill a couple holes in it. That way I can mount that onto the studs for the brake booster, and then my happy little handy dandy here can just bolt right into the side of this, something like that. You know, the brake line will go in from the master cylinder and then out and down below. So as I already mentioned, it's really tight coming out of that master cylinder to the side wall, and I've spent a couple hours, well, not a couple, I spent about an hour this morning trying to perfect the art of bending tubing without kinking it and getting a tighter 90, a bend closer to the tube nut. But that's really difficult to do. This guy makes beautiful bends that are 90 degrees, but they're way too long. They're too big, and it's too long of a radius, and so it'll make it really deep. It's just going to go right back into the fire or the inner fender. The other thing is, like, so if you try to pre-bend then put the tube on, you don't have enough room to slide the tube nut back and then get your flare tool on there. This one's way too big. I gotta have that much flare tool on it from that line all the way to the back here. Even this one is, it's only what, maybe a ½ inch thick, but you got to come out of it another 3/16 or whatever to actually do the flaring, and that did work. So excuse me. So what I ended up doing is I went ahead, did the flare nut on the straight pipe, and went ahead and flared it. And then what I did is I took this joker and I stuck it in my vise right here and just pulled it around that handle. Nice round piece there, and I real gently pulled it around the handle here where the nut was wedged here, came around here and just boop, pulled it right through there. And that gave me a pretty decent little almost like a two-part bend. You got the first like a 45 and then another 45, and it's pretty good for a 90. So we're going to try that. But before I cut my length, I need to make this bracket so I know how far to go from this to this. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, now you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I just popped the master cylinder off so I can make some marks on there, but this piece is going to go on there like that from the front, and then this will bolt up to the side here. I'll drill some more holes in it, get this cleaned up a little bit, maybe paint it black or something. But anyhow, just got to get some holes drilled in it now and figure out right about where they're going to go. Somewhere maybe like right there. Now I probably didn't get those equal, so I'll probably have to hog them out. Let's check it on the car. Okay, you just saw me hog out a little bit of the edge. That's because my guesswork didn't work out for it to fit on here, so I had to hog this little bit out right here. But hey, look at there. Now you probably are getting what I was saying. And looks like I'll just be able to drill this out and put that piece right on there. So I might as well get that going. Obviously the battery, cable and stuff will have to come up out of the way, but I think this is going to be a good spot for it. And again, you can see how long that is. That thing is, not only is the nut long, but so is the actual tubing. That's almost 2 inches from that radius to that flare. Alright, so here's where we're at now. I got it mounted in there. See what I'm going to do, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm going to stack the bolts, stack the nuts on this bolt, the stud that comes out of the brake booster. So what's holding the brake booster on is behind this, and then I just stole one of the other nuts from the other side. There'll be 2 on there when I can get that size hardware. I don't have it, but it's going to be pretty tight back here coming out of the output to swoop around down there. And I'm guessing I'm going to be making this brake line several times before I get it right. But the front one is going to be very, very short. So I guess I'll start with that one because I really don't feel like making that back one 6 times right now. But I'm going to get started. So with some finagling, I made a mark there where I'm just going to take a wild guess that it's about there. I'm probably going to be within like 1/8 of an inch or so, but there's not going to be a lot of give here. You see, might be able to do a little tiny bend. I'd love to have a loop in this, but I don't think I can do one that tight. A loop would alleviate all this measuring problem. I guess I should consider doing a loop. It's just going to be a giant loop though. That might not be any fun, and I'll probably ruin what I've done here and have to redo this. That's the nature of brake lines. Cue the banjo music. Things are getting dumb. Here we go. Keep on keeping on. This is not going to work too good. That goes that way. This needs to come all the way back around. And it doesn't want to. Whoo, doggy. There's nothing to hold it up here. to keep on the bend. So close. Nothing to pry against unless I find a wedge of some sort. I don't want to crush this line. It's still got to come all the way back around this joker. I'm getting in my own way here. We're getting there. It's pretty tight though. Let's see. I still got to come all the way back around here. This is going to be ugly. Woof. All right. Yep. Nope. Going the wrong way. Dang. All right. This piece needs straightened. It is out of control, not straight. That's going to help the situation some. All right. I'm halfway through a loop. Now's the hard part without kinking it right here. It's already getting a little tight. I need like a pipe or something to try and see if I can't wrap it around. Well, I did find a pipe, but again, still having the same issue because I'm not good at this. But live and learn. Like I said, I'll probably have to make this a couple times. Ooh, that's gonna be ugly. Take some of that out. Add a little more of this. So it's going to go in that way. How this needs to come on down some more. Good Lord, I don't know, man. Let's go to the car and see what this is going to look like. So again, this will go in here, and that's got to go down, and I'm interfering with the other pipe now. Yeah, so this worked out not at all, but we're going to continue on with it as if it is working out, right? Because that's what you do, pretend. So that goes in. Need to, this will angle down and come back up. Oh boy, I'm in deep. Got no way of measuring where to stop. Oof. You know, I'm realizing my loop should have gone up. Oh well. All right, let me keep messing with it. Okay, I think I got it going on. I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and snip this off. I took a measurement. Again, having the loop in there now, I can tweak it back and forth with some give. That's probably just the right thing to do. So let me go ahead and hack this off of here with this very dull tubing cutter in my big oafy hands. And I already got a tube nut slid on there because, well, I'll forget it. I'll make a perfect flare and have no nut on there. So yeah, that's the way it goes. All right. Deburr, chamfer, I just guess on the chamfer. It does definitely help everything make a nicer flare. I don't guess you have to. I don't know. It's the way I've just learned how to do it, I guess. All right. Now that I've overkilled that, let's see if my good brake tool is going to fit on there. Yes. All right. Nice, because this thing makes freaking perfect flares. Just slide your tube in until you see it halfway through that line. And right about, let's call it there. Hold it in place and tighten these little guys down. see how all this works out. Yeah, I hope this flare is good. It should be. This thing does good flares. Oh, there's bottom. Come on, get off there. I got too tight. Whew! Scary stuff. Oh shoot, I thought I tightened that one down. Didn't seem very tight. Golly, I hope this flare came out all right. That one's tight. And oh yeah, beauty. Can you see that? That's a good looking flare, and the flare nut goes right up to it. Contact on all 360 degrees. Good flare. All right, now see if this thing, I got it kind of probably bend this a little right there and manipulate it, but see, now I got some flex in that thing so I can adjust it to get this one to start. And I'm just going to go ahead and finger tighten it all in there and have it in the way while I make the back one. Just wanted to show real quick, I got this one finger tightened down into the valve there, and you can see this has got like a pretty good angle upward. So now I got to just, you know, bend this stuff around a little bit. Again, that was just finger tight. Don't want to honk down on it yet, so I can get this stuff all lined up. And it's going to be a little challenging, but just wanted to show that. So it is going to work. And thank goodness for the flexibility of this little aluminum there. So working out okay, I suppose. All right, there you go. It's off of the inner fender. Still loose in there. Got it finger tight here and finger tight here, and both of the flares are seated on their mating surface. So that looks pretty tidy, I would say. I don't think it's awful, and I don't think it's going to stand out too much under the hood. Now the big challenge, I think, is going to be getting this back here. That's super tight in there. I'll stick the camera back in there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but with the brake booster here, I got to somehow come out of this. Can you even see that? I'm going to turn you a little side, but yeah, you can see the nipple there. And yeah, I got to come out of there and stab down into this corner at an angle. Then come out and around and do a hoopity hoop and then down to the block. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. Okay, so I went ahead and made another flare nut end over here. This is going to come out of the valve, the adjustable valve, and I think just kind of, you know, eyeballing it about an inch out of the valve. I need to come to one side and then immediately start dropping down. So I think I could just put a little how you doing in here. That's probably too far back. Let me try my little howdy ho here. See if this thing will help me make a little bit cooler looking bend right there. Yeah, that looks a little better. That should get me around that booster. I may have to do a little bit more, but then it needs to start going down 90 degrees from this. So how do I do that? I don't know. It needs to go down pretty quickly, I think. Let me check. All right, I'm back. So I need to kind of keep myself square. So if that comes off that way, this way. Yes, that'll be putting me downward. I am anxious to get this tail off of this thing, the rest of the curly Q, because I'm tired of slinging it around while I'm trying to do bends and stuff. But I think this may work. I don't know. All I can do is try. This one I'm a little less worried about. I also want to go a little past 90. There's probably about 100 degrees so that it starts coming back towards the block. Now I can kind of climb in there, see if this will go back to the back of that valve, and then I can see about how much I need to slack to continue messing with it. I just want to get this cut off of here. So I'll be right back. Let me check that out. Didn't realize I was still recording, and it's trying to bend upwards and not at the bottom where I want it. All right, that didn't do it. That's a lot higher than I intended it to be. Wanted it to be down more, but it is what it is. That was fun. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna jump in the car again and see if I can get some more bends in this and see what it looks like. All right, so this is the general shape here. And it's kind of, you know, not cool or whatever, but I just hand bent this stuff, so I want to try and clean it up a little bit, I guess, if I can figure out how to do that. Maybe too little too late. I like to radius this bend a little better. Right about, nope. Yep, something like that. There we go. That looks a little cleaner. But now it's pointing upward, so it needs to be still down some. And I wouldn't mind this being a little straighter. And then having a little bit more of a radius here. It's starting to take shape. I know it looks ridiculous, but that's because it is. I also noticed on the kind of the factory one did have a little bit of the coil at the end, so I'll probably do something like that. This is really kind of what I would love to have, but I don't. It's gonna come back in. Yeah, I don't know how. I'll have to measure how long that's gonna actually be. But it'll look like kind of like it was meant to be this way, I think. Hard part is the proportioning valve is going to have to come out in order for me to even get this threaded in, because I can't reach it at all. I can barely get a finger on that. So that's kind of cool. Lucky me. So this will all be in and out several times. All right. Next. All right, let's cut a little piece of this guy off of here. Doesn't have to be much. I don't even think it matters. I don't know why it's on there. Maybe because it's close to the wheel well or whatever. I don't know. But might as well actually, since I've got this stuff, again, you can get this on Amazon, the Stop Shop. And then I'll throw some on there, make it look like this is factory. And also, before I forget, I'm going to want to put this guy on there, but I am not ready for him yet. Need to check final fit. Well, I don't know. I could probably get away with just going in and marking this where it needs to come off, getting it lined up. So let me try that, and then we'll cut it, flare it, and jam it in there. Well, I don't know how I did it, but I managed to get that top nut, that flare nut, started on the valve. So I really don't want to take it out of there. It's just finger tight, but I think I'm going to try and do this in the car. Probably a bad idea. But I got it marked here where I need to chomp it off at. And this is probably not going to work real well, but we're going to give it a whirl anyhow. I got it fitting pretty good. I'm actually happy with that. A lot of stuff in the way, all the the battery cables and whatnot. That'll all get cleaned up. I think I need to replace that positive anyway. It's pretty ratty. I don't know how easy this is going to be. Probably should just pull it back out, but this is really helpful for knowing exactly where to flare and cut and everything. I gotta get through the dang on thing. Alright, be right back. Like I said, this is probably a bad idea. I just don't think I'll ever get that thing started in there again. I just got lucky. You know how flare nuts can be. Alright. Now a little chamfer. You know, I really should just go ahead and pull it all back out of here because I need to blow air through it because of all the cutting and chamfering and blah blah blah. So yeah, I gotta pull it all off anyway because I still gotta bench bleed the master cylinder. Yay. Alright, what's the first step here? I guess we'll slide this joker on there. Yeah, it's gonna be, I don't think that's gonna work, folks. It isn't. I don't have enough coming through. Nope. Alright, well, back to the drawing board. Don't have to get my old school one. And I don't have enough tube to make this distance to come halfway to this line. You can see that. It interferes. Yeah, I got about 3/16 too long. No big deal. I'll just get back out of the car here. Let me see if I can get this thing undone now that I got it put in there. Oh boy, that is tight. Alright. Lefty loosey. Come on, baby. Oh, golly. Oh, this just got hard. Alright, well, I'll be back. Let me get this thing fished out of here. Well, I'm back, and I got it on there. Obviously, I fished it out of there, and had a little trouble down here, but we're there. Now I just gotta see if I can get it to fit again. Which is, you know, the challenge. What if I can get lucky twice getting this top one started? Nope. Probably not, but if I can just catch a couple of threads, that would be really cool. I'd be alright with that. But I don't think I'm gonna get so lucky. Just to hold it in place while I bend around on the bottom. Did I catch threads, or am I just imagining that? I think I caught a thread. Alright, let's see if we can't get... Well, where's my 3/8? Let's see if we can't get a turn or two with a wrench on this thing. Alright, it's kind of in there. And now you can see down here, hopefully, where I kind of got it, you know, snarfed up to get her to fit, you know. So my 90's gone. But we're going to take care of that by just hand cranking on this joker. Let's come over that way. And if I get this to thread in by fingers, that means it's squared. So far, no good. Wants to pop out of there. So we're not centered up real good. I don't know if it's the... I hope it's not the flare. I don't think it is. Another bend that way. How about imaginary bend that way? Rebend it that way. Pop it in there and see what we got. Oh, nope. Is it going? Oh yeah, there we go. All right, now let me get a turn on that real quick. If I can find the right wrench. Keep grabbing the wrong one. You just get a quick wrench turn on this. Get it a little tighter. I'm not going honking on it yet. I'm gonna make sure everything's all fitted proper. I just want to get a couple of quick turns on it to actually do a little bending. And I want it seated to do that. Alright, that's not like torqued down or anything, but those two are rubbing, so I want to bend out a little this way. That alleviates that. Too close to the steering column here, so one of these and a right there. Closer to there. Now I'm right there by the battery. All right, now you guys get up here and check it out. The light probably doesn't help, I get it, but there we go. We're in down here. You can see from back through here, it comes out straight, then swoops over a little bit, comes up, clears the steering column here. It's going to be just fine right there with this collar. I'll probably try and get it bent over just a skosh more. Yep, that's really good. Got my little loop in here. I could, if I really wanted to, I could loop it through there, but I'm not going to. That's the battery cable clamp from the factory. And this stuff kind of got all pulled around in here. I was trying to get it out of my way up top. Up here, you can see all this stuff's got to come back down in there really good. Gets tucked in, and there's all kinds of factory little clips and whatnot that go all along that to hold all that junk in place, all the vacuum lines and everything. And then here is the little clip right there for the e-brake warning, or not the e-brake, but just the brake warning switch. And that fits on there. Perfect. And I'll pull the slack up out of there. Yeah, not too shabby. So happy with that. It snakes up behind there, and then you can see I got it plugged back in back here. And it's just kind of finger tight. And this is on there, so now I got really good access to this with nothing in the way. If you look, the knob's wider than the body, so it has to be proud of something. It has to be away. So like sticking it to a frame rail or whatever. Plus, this is plastic right here. And if I try to do it anywhere down here post distribution block, I'm going to be right up near the header. Plus, having to reach up in here to get it would be painful. I've still got a couple clips to put on this brake line. One goes right there, another back there. So you can see there just wasn't a really good place to do it. And I wanted it mounted firmly, you know, so that I don't have just the weight of this thing hanging on the brake line. That's kind of a really good idea. So anyway, bang, there we go. Now all I gotta do is tighten everything down after I get 2 replacement nuts, and I gotta bench bleed this, take it all back apart, bench bleed it, get everything tightened down to spec, and we're off and running. Well, I said off and running. Not really. Still no engine in this joker, obviously. And I'm looking to remedy that really soon. I've got, you know, this thing's just in my way here. I need to jam the transmission back on it, get it in the car, get it started fitting up, get the headers in there, make sure I can measure, get the exact drive shaft I need. I need to figure out a radiator situation. Man, those have gotten expensive. Wow. But so are the drive shafts. There's probably between the two of them, I don't know, $800, $900, $1,000, especially at Christmas time. Either way though, that's going in pretty quick here. I think in the next 3 or 4 weeks, hopefully, I'm gonna pop the hood off of this girl, get the engine going, and just start, you know, nuking through all the problems that I'm gonna have there. And you know, now that I've got the brake lines out of the way and I can, you know, done being in there for all that mess, there's nothing to stop me from putting this engine in and, you know, figuring out how it's all gonna work out. I mean, big blocks go in these cars all day long. So it's gonna be, you know, it's a little tight with the headers and stuff. I don't know if those headers will work. They came out of an E-body. These are very similar. Really similar. So it should work. If not, there goes a whole bunch of money for some TTI headers. But, you know, there's always something to do. Plenty to do, but at least I got this little chore knocked out. I've been putting this off for a long time, messing with other stuff, and so finally it's a good weekend to just get this knocked out. So keep on keeping on. That's all you can do. That's how projects go. And I hope you're enjoying it. And I hope you had a great Thanksgiving last week. And, you know, get yourself an old piece of crap and start wrenching on it. It's fun. All right. Y'all have a great week. And we'll talk to you real soon here on Russ Garage. Thanks for watching.